Hi, welcome to Gemini Star Spiritual Wellness. Thank you for joining me today. I'm excited that you're here with me for this video. Today's video is the July tarot reading. So July 2025 tarot reading. And as always, please like and subscribe. Please hit the like button on this video so it'll go out to more people that need to see the information. And please hit the subscribe button so that you get future videos that I put out. So let's just get right into it and kind of see what's going on for the month of July. It was kind of a crazy, intense reading for June. So we will see what's happening for July. So let's dive right into it. And as always, please take what resonates and leave behind what doesn't, because this video is going to be watched by many people. So it might resonate with you, it might not. But this video is for the collective. So it's for everybody who's watching, who might watch. So everyone who's going to see the video. So let's see what's going on for the month of July 2025. Yeah, I feel like there's been definitely a lot of intensity with the tarot readings I've been doing for the last couple months, couple weeks. I see it getting more intense, especially with the weekly readings for the last couple weeks. So let's see what's going on. I'm really kind of curious to what's going on here. So let's see what's going on with the energy for the collective. Okay, I feel like we can move forward. Okay, here we go. Okay, so we've got the Hierophant. Ooh, Ten of Pentacles. Page of Wands. Knight of Swords. All right, let's see. Ace of Pentacles. Temperance. And the final card is the Three of Wands. Okay, so taking a look at this, what's interesting is in the past we've had, leading up to July, we've had kind of like small beginnings of passionate new beginnings of things, like small steps forward in new beginnings. And this could relate to your personal life as well, even though this is meant for the collective. It could also resonate with you on a personal level. It just depends, on where the energy is that you're in. But I feel like in the past, leading up to this month of July, definitely like small baby steps moving forward with new beginnings. So things changing and coming in, but it's been like small, like a step forward, then another step forward, then another step forward. It hasn't been like a lot at one time or like a whole bunch of change at one time. It's just been kind of baby steps, but it is passionate new beginnings coming in, but it's like the very beginning of the passion. So it's like new beginnings coming in, but it's like it's at the very beginning stages of it. So it's just baby steps going in that direction. For our current energy as a collective, there's going to be truth coming in, fast moving energy, truth coming in that's going to change the systems and organizations and institutions that we're used of. So I have this card as us as a collective, and the Hierophant is, about basically it could be about marriage, but it's also about institutions, organizations, systems that that we're used to, that we've lived in this earth. But I feel like there's going to be a lot of truth coming in, and it's going to be fast. It's like July is going to be, it's going to be quick, truth coming in, but it's going to be fast energy. See, I got the Knight of Swords, so it's coming in quick, fast and furious. So I think July is going to be pretty crazy with this. So you're going to see a lot of truth coming in, truth hitting the collective on a global scale. Lots of information coming out about these, institutions, systems, and organizations that we are used to on the earth plane, that have been established here for a long time, but a lot of truth coming out. It's going to be fast, like I said, fast and furious for the month of July. And then you've got, but the situation of it for us is this information coming out is going to allow us to achieve the Ten of Pentacles abundance. So it could be truth coming out, but it's the truth is going to change these institution systems or whatever to help us be more abundant. So it could be changes that are made because of the information that comes out, or it could be these systems, organizations, and institutions are actually done away with, and that allows us to go into a Ten of Pentacles abundant energy. So there is abundance for the collective, but I feel like it has something to do with the truth coming out of these institutions, but also yeah, institutions and all that, those previous systems and institute organizations. But it could be they're either changing or they're done away with. And that's what's helping to bring in the abundance for the collective. Um, but there is definitely going to be abundance coming in. And it's not just, it's just not money. Like, even though it's pentacle energy, it could be abundance in anything. It could be abundance in our daily lives. It could be abundance, financially, of course, but it could be also abundance with health, relationships. But it's going to change things, but it's going to change things for the collective for the better. And that's the important part of it, for the better. And I feel like, this past energy of kind of like just kind of slowly taking these steps forward is going to change. It's going to get a lot more coming in. So it's going to speed up. It's not going to be like a step forward like it's been in the past. It's going to really start to speed up, but it is going to bring in the abundance for the collective, which is good. We want that abundance. So that's really good. And that's the current energy, but looking forward, definitely, see, this is a 10. So it's like the end of a cycle, but the cycle we're finally reaching to the point of abundance. But the cycle was, long and hard, to get to this 10. And it was like a scarcity mindset, not having enough, feeling like there wasn't enough for everybody. Kind of like to get ahead, you had to mess people over, that kind of mindset. And I talked about that for the weekly reading, but I feel like, it was a long time coming to get to this 10. So we're finally at the point where we're reaching this point of abundance as a collective, but it took a long time to get here. But what's interesting is in the near future, we're coming into this. So it's a new beginning of abundance. So we finally reached to the end of that cycle with this 10. We finally reached the end of the cycle as a collective with abundance. Now we're going to go into a more abundant new beginning. But it goes back to those changes that are made, that truth coming out, that information coming out about those systems, institutions, and organizations that we have been a part of for thousands of years on the planet. But definitely seeing, a new beginning in abundance, which is great. I mean, this is great. So it looks like it's really starting to kind of hit a threshold in July, or coming to a crossroads where we're getting ready, getting to the end of that cycle of not feeling abundant and then going into, the new beginning. But also, one thing is, this is going to be divinely guided and divinely timed. So everything happens in divine timing. So this hasn't happened, it's took a while with the baby steps because the collective wasn't ready yet. But it looks like in July, it's getting to the point where the divine and the universe feels, okay, we're ready now, for this to get ready to start, this new beginning. So it's kind of like July's kind of a ending of the cycle, but we're getting to that threshold of going into that new beginning. So the new beginning won't start in July, but it's coming. Maybe August, maybe by the fall, something like that, but it's coming in the near future. But definitely, time is an illusion. We've got the divine timing. This is very divine timing, but I also feel like when I see this card, I just don't think that way. I also feel, I mean, that's part of what I see with this card, but I also feel that there is definitely some divine help and guidance. So, angels helping us, um, higher dimensional beings, off-worlders, or galactics helping us to make this transition. But it couldn't happen before now. And what I'm feeling is the divine consciousness. It's like the divine consciousness is slowly rising, but it has to get to a point, like it had to get to a certain point percentage of people being awake and consciously spiritually awakened before it could move forward. So it's like, it's kind of like the speed of which the earth is waking up and the speed of which the people are spiritually awakened and awakening and their consciousness is rising. It's, it has to get to a certain crescendo, because certain percentage before it can move forward. And I feel like that's what was going on. It's like there had to be a shift in the amount of consciousness on the planet before we could go forward into this new beginning. And my nose is itching when I'm saying that. So it's like we had to reach a threshold of consciousness on the planet before it could move forward. And that's what the divine timing was. And, as you see, one thing I like about this card is if you look in the background, it's on this side over here, you see like a little sun back there, the end of the path. So I feel like, that's it, divine timing. Okay, now the collective is ready. The planet's ready to start this new beginning of abundance. And divine timing was, had to happen in that way for us to be ready to handle it. So, yeah, looks like light on the end of the tunnel. But it's also like the collective is starting a new journey. So we are moving forward and looking, we've looked at our options. I remember that the Two of Swords has come up, and I don't know if it was the June reading, but in the previous reading it came up. I remember that. So now it's like we're looked at our options, and now the universe is like, okay, it's divine timing. You're moving forward. You're getting out of those old cycles. What, as a collective, you're taking the step, first step of your new journey. And what do we see that as a collective? What do we want that journey to be? Because remember, as a collective, we are creating our reality. So as a collective, how do we want the earth to be? How do we want the future of our world to be? And we're taking that first step forward into creating our new earth, or creating our new world. And letting go of the old world, because that has fallen away. It's no longer relevant to where we're going consciously, energetically. It's time to let those old systems, those lower vibrational systems, come to an end. Um, and I do feel like there's going to be a lot of information coming out this month. It's going to be fast. It's going to be coming at you a lot. So it might be overwhelming because it's coming out fast and furious, a lot of it. So it might seem very kind of overwhelming this month as far as information coming out about the old systems and institutions. But there's a reason for it. And that's because we need to know the truth about these things in order to take that step forward to where we're going in a new higher vibrational world. So really exciting. This is really exciting reading. Really exciting. And it kind of goes into what I was saying about when I did the weekly reading on Saturday. It was talking about, coming into our heart center, awakening our heart chakra, and coming into a place globally of unconditional love. And that's going to be a big part of moving forward into where we want to go as a collective into the world. So moving forward into, what kind of world do we want to create? So by our heart chakra opening up, going into that place of unconditional love, that is the kind of world we're going to want to create, because that's the new energy we're going to be in, is a place of unconditional love. And the divine is always about unconditional love. So that's how they operate. The divine, they operate on that level, on that level of unconditional love. So really, really intriguing reading. I just find this, kind of fascinating today for July. So looks like July is going to be an intense month, but it looks like that new beginning and abundance is coming forward in the near future. So even though July might be intense with information coming out, truth coming out, and a lot coming at us at one time, this is all, it's all divinely guided. It's all part of the divine plan. and we just need to, like, be patient, take that first step forward into the new earth how we want it to be. But it's this is all divine plan. So just remember that if it gets kind of intense over the month with this information coming out, if it gets intense and kind of overwhelming, just remember it's all part of a divine plan. And in the near future, we're going into a much higher level of abundance, ending that cycle of not feeling abundant or not being abundant. That's all going to change. And we're coming into a much bigger cycle as a collective of being abundant. So that's what I have for this week, for this month, I'm sorry, for the month of July 2025. So really interesting reading. Looks like it's going to be intense, but just hang in there. So thank you for joining me, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.